Open Mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV-FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Good evening and welcome to the Open Mic Show. I'm Bill Macek and my co-host Bill Ellis is here for another rollicking 2 hours.
How are you, Willie?
I'm good. How are you?
Name me another famous Willie that was on TV in Boston years ago.
Willie? Not Willy Wonka.
Willie Whistle.
Willie Whistle.
He was
That's
on
right.
Channel 38. Remember that? Yeah, he used to have that. How did he ever do that? He must have had one of those thing in his lips or something. But he was.
That was it.
He was comical. He was hard to
Hey, let's
understand.
talk about we got a really good show tonight. A really big show.
Who used to say that? You don't remember?
Ed Sullivan.
This is a really big show. The Beatles.
Ed Sullivan.
Yeah.
Right.
Ed Sullivan. He had no neck.
Yeah, that's right. And so our first hour from the City Council, Mary Ellen Daly O'Brien, and she has. And when I spoke to her about coming on, she has a lot of topics. I know that.
But Billy, you know I
people
don't
are
like.
talking.
I don't like city councilors from Haverhill.
Shh, stop. People are. People are talking about
Oh, that's right.
the
You are one.
marijuana
Yeah.
question. You know that whether or not we should put it on the ballot.
Well,
because there was a lot of information. I'll let Mary Ellen say why.
Okay.
But she's going to be coming on very shortly, and will be with us this first hour. And then the second hour will be Christina Eckert. She's looking to run in the 2nd Essex District for representative, state representative, and she'd be challenging the incumbent Republican Lenny Mirra. So
and I took a little bit of her
and you
bio.
look-
She's written for some big TV shows.
She's written for some big TV shows. She's a graduate of Harvard. She also has a master's degree from UCLA. She's very active in Boxford with the parents groups and raising all kinds of money, doing all kinds of good things for the kids. So
A lot of big names. I see she
she's
was
looking
involved
for,
with St. Elsewhere.
her next frontier could be politics.
That would be nice. It's a
Well,
challenge.
you never know. So
Somebody came out of Hollywood and went into politics. This was who? Could you name somebody off the top of your head?
well, no, he came out of New York.
No,
Kind
he
of
didn't.
came out of TV.
Ronald Reagan.
Oh, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about our
We're
current.
really quick
our
tonight,
current
Bill,
president.
huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but he was a New York kid.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Made it big.
Yeah.
He's
So,
under a lot of fire.
who knows? And I think that she has a very strong resume, and see what she's doing for her campaign. But she's on the second hour, so anybody that's in the 2nd Essex District should start writing down your questions now for Christina Eckert.
And Billy, you mentioned marijuana to start. Just you talking about it's made me hungry. Why
Well,
don't you
I
talk about a nice 7-inch cake from LBD's Bakery?
All right, let's do that. Okay. The WHAV giveaway birthday anniversary cake, which we do every month, one every month, is up for grabs, but all you have to do is call in a birthday or anniversary for next month, which would be August.
Right.
And on the last Monday,
Which is July 30th.
which is next week,
Yeah.
next Monday, the last Monday of July, we will draw the winner for the August cake giveaway, and the cake comes from LBD's 2nd generation Italian bakery in Bradford Square, right on South Main Street. And it's a great place to go for not just cakes, but for all kinds of Italian bakery goods and cookies. And
You like
name
cookies.
It.
You like those lemon cookies.
I don't have as much of a sweet tooth as some people, though.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you walked in there and somebody said, "Yeah, have this for
I
free,"
do like those Italian lemon cookies.
I know you mentioned that before.
yeah.
So that's would you grab a lemon cookie or a cannoli?
Probably the lemon cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a lot less calories in the lemon cookie than
Yeah.
the cannoli.
Right. That's right. So it's a little bit of a saving calories.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's why
You're always astute
that's why
like
I
that.
keep this beautiful slim body of
Built
mine.
like a Greek god. Yeah, and the cake is delicious. I've never tasted it, but Jerry. Remember Jerry won
Jerry
April
won
15th
one,
was
yeah,
his birthday, and
yeah.
he said he loved it. It was
Yeah.
excellent.
Now, when's your birthday, Bill?
Mine is Thursday.
So you missed your opportunity.
I know. I got to wait till next year.
Yeah, next
but
year.
But hopefully
All
by
right.
next year, because I'm on a diet, and I don't know if can you notice on the camera, folks? I'm trying to lose some weight. I've been on the diet for about 2 months now. The first month I lost 13 pounds.
Yeah.
Second month I lost my wallet.
Yeah.
And so that was another 12 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, I haven't weighed myself yet for my second month.
But that's good. 13 pounds in 1 month. That's
yeah,
good.
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
So it's hopefully will pan out, and hopefully I'm trying to get that young man look again, just like yourself.
That's good. That's
I
good.
Get my
yeah.
hair cut short, and
Yeah.
so instead of people saying he doesn't look 61, he looks more like 59.
Yeah,
I'll be happy about that
that's
to
good.
be back in the last decade.
That's a good feeling. Yep. Hey, let's take a break right now for a few messages from our good underwriting supporters, and then we'll get Mary Ellen in here, and we'll start that discussion. I think it's going to be good. We're going to get phone calls at 978-374-1900. If you have a question for Mary Ellen, you can call in now and just wait a couple of minutes, and we'll get right to your call. Right here on the new Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic!
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
Catch the wave!
Now, here's good news for you Gildersleeve fans.
Yes, folks, this is Gildersleeve. This summer, whether you're at the beach, the mountains, or right in your own backyard, you'll be able to hear us every Wednesday night at the usual time. We'll be on the air all summer.
Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. on WHAV. Community Spotlight is sponsored by Unicare Life and Health Insurance Company.
Community Spotlight!
Haverhill book lovers in their 20s and 30s are invited to join the library's Get Lit Book Club that meets the third Monday of every month at the Peddler's Daughter downtown. Book choices are listed online at haverhillpl.org. No advance registration is necessary, and readers don't have to have finished the book to attend. For more information, call Abby Porter at 978-373-1586, extension 608. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at WHAV.net or email news@WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
Support for WHAV is brought to you by Unicare Life and Health Insurance Company. For nearly 30 years, Unicare has provided health benefits to people insured through the Group Insurance Commission. Unicare is proud to be serving over 170,000 GIC members, retirees, and their families.
This spot could have been yours. Support WHAV's local approach with your underwriting. Go to WHAV.net and click on advertising to reach thousands of new customers.
Catch the wave! WHAV! Open mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we are back here on the Open Mic Show. Mary Ellen, I'm going to drop the new. I planned on dropping it soon anyway, Mary Ellen, but I walked out to say hello to her, and she says, I don't see anything new about the show. So
But she did comment about my comment about you looking like a Greek god.
I said he has a youthful figure.
Oh, thank you. You two are just
Billy, stand up so the
polite.
world can see you.
No. The camera's right up here. Mary Ellen is the key, our featured guest this hour, and we want the camera to see Mary Ellen.
Because you're wearing a nice shirt, but that shirt with Speedos. See, the people can't see the Speedos because of the camera angle.
I don't like the full body shot. We just get the torso.
That's how we'll bury you then.
That's the way that, how do you know what people have on in a casket below where you're looking?
Do they wear shoes?
I don't know. I never checked.
They do wear
Mary
shoes.
Ellen would know.
Now, see, in England, they don't wear shoes. They bury you barefoot, I was told. Because remember the Beatles album, Abbey Road?
Yes.
And Paul McCartney was barefoot?
Yes.
And that was all part of the big thing
And
that...
Harrison was in blue jeans, and he was supposed to be the gravedigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
Oh,
was...
that was fake.
Yeah,
Fake
it was.
news.
And
It was fake.
Wasn't
It was
Lenin
fake news.
Lenin was the high
It
priest?
was, I think.
Mary Ellen, can I get you to move? You need to. These mics are very
I think
sensitive.
I think it was really the beginning of fake news.
Yeah, that could have been. Could have been. Let me see.
People read too
we
much
can
into
do-
I don't know about that. You know when I think a real hoax began?
What?
Remember 1938?
Yeah.
War of the Worlds?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, way
Yeah,
back when.
yeah, Orson Welles. Okay, we have a phone call, Mary Ellen. Would you mind? Mary Ellen Daly O'Brien is a colleague of mine. We are colleagues together on the Haverhill City Council, and she has a number of topics tonight that are city-related. One of them is a fairly big talk issue, at least, and that's about marijuana. And we have a caller online, I think, according to our producer, Chris, that would like to break the ice on that topic. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, good. All right. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes, hello.
Yes, what's your first name?
My first name's Ryan.
Ryan, okay. You have something you'd like to ask or state?
Yeah, so first off, first time, long time.
Okay.
Thanks for taking my call. And I want to get a little bit more information about this potential upcoming vote and sort of why it's happening. It felt like a couple years ago we voted on this. And
I can tell you what happened.
Up to vote again?
Well, I'll tell you, this is what happened. After we had that statewide ballot vote, it went back to Beacon Hill, and they put an amendment on it saying that if your town or city voted in the majority for it, then you would have no choice but to become a host community. If they didn't, such as our neighbors Lawrence and Methuen,
And I think Andover in North Andover, or at least one of them.
one of
Yeah.
the Andovers.
Yeah.
But just to put it in context, there are communities that it did not reach the majority vote. So those communities did not have to accept recreational marijuana shops being set up in their communities. We really felt that this was a disadvantage as time has gone on and the state has been so fluctuating on their rules, getting their rules out to us and how they want us to do it. There's no testing for impairment. If people using recreational marijuana are in an accident or cause bodily harm to themselves or somebody else or have an accident at work, we feel this is a real hole. There's just a whole bunch of issues around this. So anyways, and there's been a lot of talk in the community as people have figured this out. So we at the council have bounced this around for about a year. Like,
Right.
what can we do to get a better idea of what the city, the constituents, what are their wishes? And we haven't formulated a question. We're just
Wait,
at
but
the,
didn't we vote for it already?
you voted on a statewide ballot. This would be just for the city.
Right, but the majority of the voters
But
in the
we
city
didn't
voted for
know,
it?
but we didn't know at that time that this is how the state was going to roll this out. And they have not, in my opinion, I don't think that they've done their duty as far as giving our communities the
Wait,
what
but
do
the
they want
majority of
regulatory?
Haverhill voters said they wanted it, right?
Yes.
They did. But let me ask you a question. If this went on the ballot and it was killed, can next year somebody come back and put it on the ballot, and then if it wins, can it go back and forth every
Well,
year?
the only way this is going to go on a ballot, it's not going to be a state ballot. It's only going to be for the city.
I understand that.
And
But
it has to be done by the city council and the mayor. So somebody would have to probably, if someone in the community wanted to put it on a ballot again, they would have to
Get
get
a
number.
ton of signatures.
Yeah, a number of signatures, 5,000, I think.
so between the mayor and the city council, can the mayor do it separately, or does
No.
has
We
to
have
be
to do
with?
it together.
All right, with the city council.
And we have no guarantee the mayor's going to go with this. This is the beginning of talking about something that we feel, because we've heard from many different constituents about it. And let me be very, very clear. I have no personal feelings against marijuana at all. And in fact, I'm a big proponent of medical marijuana, or should I say the products that come from marijuana that we can use medically. They have given a great relief to people. So that's not my problem.
Wait, so it would be another vote, even though we already voted? So is it like a special?
It would be a special election. But this is just the beginning.
How much does that cost us to put on?
We heard about
22,000.
Yeah, 24,
Holy
22,000.
smokes.
But I don't, listen.
Holy
this is-
smoke,
it
that's
could-
nice
it
when we
could-
talk about marijuana.
It could never happen. We're just starting the
It's
conversation.
just a dialogue at this point,
Yeah.
and we're going to be kind of bouncing it around to see if it is something that even the people want.
Yeah.
Because I think that information is what's
But I
important
thought we
here.
already voted for it.
But
Didn't we
no,
already
we
say
didn't. We didn't vote for what we currently have,
Have,
and I
no.
think that's the state legislature, in my opinion, actually created two classes of communities. 351 communities in the state, and the ones that voted less than 50% for recreational marijuana, they can rule by their elected body, be it a city council or a select board, whatever it is. They don't have to go to a ballot to change things. Ones that voted more than 50% have to go to a ballot question in order to change anything that the state is making sure imposing on us. Right.
Let me ask
because
you-
right now we would have to have a minimum of 6 retail stores citywide. If we wanted to do only 2 or 4, that takes a ballot question to get there. We might even say, to the people coming out to vote, are you in favor of recreational marijuana? And then another question that, would you want 2 stores? Would you want 3 stores? Would you want 4 stores? So we can get a better read of what the public thinks. Right now, we're being told by the state, by the legislature and the CCC, the Cannabis Control Commission, that we have to do these things. And if we don't, they'll be forced upon us. If we don't regulate them and take and comply with these regulations, because Haverhill was over 50% in the vote, then it would mean that a court would say, look, you didn't properly put the locations, the zoning locations for a retail marijuana shop, and you didn't have enough area, then that means that they're available any place. And I don't think we want that kind of craziness going on in our community. So I think we need to do it right, like we did with the medical marijuana.
Quick question. So if a community didn't get 50%, can a city council or a town council vote to still
and
have
that's
it?
what's happened. No, they can vote either way. But Methuen,
But I don't understand it. If the
Methuen and Lawrence have already said no. They've banned it. Now they can reverse that, and there's talk that Methuen, because of their financial woes, may look to reverse that.
And that's based on the city
It's
council?
based on the elected body, right?
So the elected
A
body can
select board
override
or
what
a city
the
council.
people chose?
Right. Right, for their community, right.
Wow, that's-
but the question was never based locally. It was a statewide referendum.
Just a case of, like, not in my backyard type of thing.
Yes,
Where
and I
people
think-
in Haverhill might want to drive to another town and spend their
I-
money there, and the other town will get the tax revenue.
Well, I think some of the comments we're getting from different sectors. There are some people that are very nervous because things have been going on in Haverhill for the last couple of years, and they feel that this might ignite something else. I don't agree with that,
What do you,
but
what
I
do you
can
mean
understand.
things have been going on?
Well, we've had increased gang activity associated with violent crime, and I'm not saying this is my perception. I'm saying that people say these things to us. They communicate their nervousness about this. The medical marijuana, I don't think, was nearly the problem that we're hearing.
So wait, they're nervous that marijuana shops are going to increase gang activity?
They may become another object of
Has
armed
that happened in
robbery.
the other states, like
Armed robbery.
Colorado and Oregon?
Something else that we need to look into. I have read some problem stories in Colorado and Oregon. So we believe that Massachusetts has learned from the early problems that other states have had. And the regulations are quite tight, but we need to also make them comply with what's best for Haverhill, not what's best for the state.
But in the meantime, we're still going to do what we started out to do, and that's find the proper zoning. We're not going to abdicate our responsibilities as counselors and say, oh, we're going to wait for this vote, if this vote happens.
No, we decided that last week at the Administration and Finance Committee meeting when we said that we were going to move forward with citing the locations for at least 6 shops
And
citywide.
where would they be? Would they be scattered or?
We haven't decided.
We haven't decided that yet, but
Okay.
they probably would be scattered in different areas. We're
Now-
looking at
now,
right now
question.
just to answer
How
that.
far from schools would you keep it?
You have to keep at least 500 feet away by regulation already.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that goes for the medical, too.
right. So we are looking at commercial highway zones, which are already retail zones pretty much, but we're not sure that we're going to overlay them. We're not just going to say all commercial highway zones. We're going to be a little bit more selective. And maybe it will, where it's an overlay, it doesn't have to just be something that's now allowed. We could do it that way. We could just say all commercial highway zones are now.
What about downtown?
I'm not sold on downtown. I know that there's a very aggressive person who is looking to open a retail marijuana place downtown, but I have some concerns. I'm still open to listen to maybe having a portion of the downtown area maybe be open for siting, but personally, I think that there's some negatives that would come along with it downtown. One would be traffic because of the volume of cars that would be coming to the retail marijuana shop.
Have they done traffic
It'd be
studies?
that successful?
Well, I just know what we need. Well, it has nothing to do with success. It has something to do with availability of parking. The reason we now have paid parking is to control habit of parking. And you're going to add, by my numbers from what I was given at the meeting last week, the average day will be 275 cars.
Per location?
For the downtown location alone.
Okay.
That's a lot of business.
And you know what? I don't have a problem with downtown. As long as it's near someplace where there's adequate parking, I don't have a problem.
Right. That's why we have to look at that. We just can't
I don't
say
have a
all
problem.
of downtown is available.
So, again...
What do you think our tax benefit could be?
Well, that's a thing that is got a lot... you want to talk about a variable. There's been winners and there's been losers, and even in Colorado and California, it really
I
has
heard they have like all new schools in Colorado.
No, that's not true. That is not
Well,
true.
Massachusetts only allows the tax benefit, the host community agreement benefit only comes for, I think it's either 3 or 6 years.
Yeah, I think it's 3.
I think it's 3 too.
But
So
this
after
is-
that, there is no additional benefit.
Again, this is where this misinformation kind of gets crazy, because what has happened is some communities have really benefited from it and some communities haven't. And that's the piece that's always hard to find, because you can imagine how we have been sold on this by the industry. They have come and been very aggressive with us as city councilors.
Big marijuana.
Yes, and the companies that want to start these shops, which, again, I don't have a problem with it, but I want to make sure we do the right
Is
thing.
it like conglomerate? Is it like big businesses?
Oh,
or
yeah,
is
it's
it
really
like-
big.
How do you feel about it? I get the feeling that you're in favor of allowing retail marijuana
Yeah, I
in
mean, I
Haverhill.
think that just try it. I mean, it's not like we're out on the leading edge here.
You don't just
know,
try
there's other
things,
places
though,
that have done it.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
This isn't something you just try. Once you make the commitment to
We
it,
tried to go to the moon and we did it.
well, I don't know how.
mean, you
I don't know
gotta-
if that's a good analogy.
I don't know how that
but I would
relates
say
totally.
It's like
Yeah,
having liquor stores. I think it's more like having retail liquor stores. That's it.
Yeah, the moon's 240,000 miles away.
The other
They tried
question.
prohibition and it didn't work, okay?
The other question
That's a
that
better
needs
example.
to go on a ballot that we could probably also include is consumption, public consumption. That was in the original legislation and does require a ballot vote in favor of public consumption. That means you could go and you could buy your marijuana product, and then you could go to the next room or on the porch or whatever they have, and you could utilize it in public. So are you okay with that?
In like another room or like out on the street?
Well, no, in another room. like a nightclub. You can't
or
buy liquor.
Like,
you can't.
like go into like the liquor store, like.
Yeah, you go to the liquor
like,
store,
beer.
but you can't
drink in a liquor store.
You can't drink in a liquor
But
store.
then you go into like a bar next door and drink the beer.
You can't bring your booze into it. It's open consumption. When you go to a bar or a restaurant, you get served either an open bottle, an open glass, or whatever. But you don't buy it by the bottle and pop the
I don't
cap.
know. I've never seen anything like that.
In
But
the
I don't
Nether-
know. I mean,
In the Netherlands,
maybe
they have
if you
two
could
separate
do it.
shops.
Right.
In the Netherlands, if you go to a certain kind of club, it's all marijuana. Or you go to another one, it's all booze. They're not mixed together.
And I don't think they can mix them in Massachusetts
think
either.
so.
No,
No.
I think they're separate.
No, they're going to be separate clubs.
But the question is, if we were to allow consumption, does that create a problem with that person then going back to his or her car and driving?
I would think so, especially if the shop opened at 10 in the morning and you showed up and left 6 at night.
Well, whatever time though.
Yeah, I mean, you could be as high as a kite.
Again, this is the problem. Unlike alcohol and all the other drugs, and I know this as a nurse, we can test for impairment. There is no definitive test for impairment with THC products because it binds to your fat cells and it can be
How do
there
the other
for
states
3
do
to
it?
4 weeks. Everybody's grappling with this. You know what they've been doing is they're teaching police officers and state troopers to recognize certain levels of impairment. I don't feel from a scientific side that that's going to hold water as time goes on. Because you could have smoked it 3 weeks ago or had a marijuana product 3 weeks ago and still test positive.
Usually it stays in your fatty cells for about a month. I
About a
heard.
month.
Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's funny because cocaine passes in 3 days, and that's a lot worse drug.
And
So, caller, make sure you do coke and not grass.
Nah,
well,
not for me.
the drugs, again, this brings up a whole bunch of things that we don't think the state gave us enough tools for our society to really do this and do it right.
And they took
Yeah,
away a
I
lot of
guess,
local
like,
control.
It's just similar to the whole alcohol thing.
And then,
You know,
but
I mean, I know we don't have a way to test it yet, but other states have done it successfully. It feels like we voted on it already. I don't know.
And personally,
for
as a
it.
nurse, I don't want you smoking anything, because your lungs are just like sponges. So whether you're smoking a cigarette or you're smoking marijuana,
Well, I mean,
it's not
I
good
think
for
they
you.
eat it. They
Well,
have
the other thing is for smoking
stuff,
marijuana, even in a room
not.
where
It's not
we
good.
have rules. Our Board of Health regulations don't allow
No
for
smoking.
public smoking, so we'd have to work on that
Well, you
and
can't
see
have-
if we can adapt that. Because if somebody wanted to have those kind of establishments, hey Ryan, I really appreciate your call. It's been great. You've had a lot of good questions, and I thank you for
Just
calling in.
One final word. I'm for it. I just asked the council to respect the will of the voters, and let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. We can do it as a community. I believe in us.
Appreciate you for calling in, and
thank
thank
you
you very
very
much.
much.
We
Thank
have
you,
to
Ryan.
take a break now for some special words, and we'll be right back with our guest this hour, Mary Ellen Daly O'Brien from the Haverhill City Council. We'll be back.
Mike.
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
It's 6:33.
Catch the wave.
Would it surprise you to know radio still reaches more than 90% of people in every age group every week? It's a fact. And 97.9 WHAV FM's target audience averages 92%. While other media are cutting back, area residents turn to WHAV for local news, information, and entertainment they cannot find elsewhere. Add what has been called the halo effect of public radio, and listeners find business messages more credible and trustworthy than other forms of advertising. For a no-obligation assessment about how WHAV can help your business reach more people than all other local media combined, call 978-374-1900 or visit whav.net.
Wave weather.
Here is the wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Low around 72 tonight with a very slight chance of a storm. Overall mostly cloudy. An isolated shower possible during the day on Tuesday, mainly cloudy and warmer. Highs around 85. Lower to middle 70s and humid for Tuesday night. An isolated shower or two. And then some heavy rain and a few thunderstorms on Wednesday. Highs around 82. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Why pay $250 to $350 a year for half as much news? On air and online. 97.9 WHAV provides more Greater Haverhill news more often than any other sources combined. Support the only Haverhill-based news source with your tax-deductible local news membership by clicking on the membership tab at whav.net.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back, 6:35, almost 6:36 on this Monday evening on the Open Mic Show. Bill Macek, Bill Ellis, and City Councilor Mirra Daly O'Brien is here this hour as our guest. We have a number of topics I know that you'd like to get into, but right now we've been talking about a very interesting and a question that I think everybody has a strong opinion on, and that's recreational marijuana. But before we get on with this, let's go to a caller because we have a caller calling in for birthdays in August, so that maybe the cake will be won by one of these people. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you tonight?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. What's happening?
I have around 10 birthdays.
You know, I don't even think you know 10 people. Never mind
Yeah,
10
I do.
birthdays
I have
in the month of August. All right. Did you already give them to Chris?
Yes.
Okay, so he already has them.
Just roll through them real quick.
Okay. Steve, Victor, Kelly, Bob, Helen, Nikki, Peggy, Tammy, and Cody, and Harry.
Okay, great.
Sounds good. Sounds like the Dirty Dozen.
Yeah, and Chris has all the information, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks for calling in.
Okay, yep.
I just want to mention that what's happened right there is that all of those people are now entered into the LBD's second generation Italian bakery birthday cake giveaway, and they are located on South Main Street in Bradford Square, and we thank them for being our cake giveaway bakery, and who knows, one of those people could win the cake. We're going to be drawing it next Monday
night.
Next Monday, that's right. Okay, right here on the Open Mic Show. Let's get back to Mary Ellen. How are you doing, Mary Ellen? What else do you want to talk about?
Well,
or do you want to stay with say any more about
about
marijuana?
I think at this stage, we're not close enough to knowing what we're really going to do. It's a dialogue at this point.
Right.
And
I agree.
so I think we've said
But if
enough.
anybody wants to call in, they can
They can.
call in
I think,
for or against or have a question.
I think it's an interesting year for women running for public office. I'm very happy about that.
I do.
At this
I do too.
stage of my government side of my life, I'm really, really happy to see so many women all over the United States.
Now, have you endorsed anybody for the congressional
I
seat?
did endorse Barbara L'Italian.
I thought so.
She is going to be in Haverhill this Saturday at the Battlegrounds from 9 to, I think, 11 a.m. And my reasons are multi-level. First of all, I think Barbara's really done a great job representing the Valley in different at different levels of government. She's really delivered for Haverhill and the surrounding area. I'm not too impressed with somebody who just walks back in and says, you should elect me when they've done nothing for you. I really like some of the other gals that are running too. I feel that national momentum of this is a year for history and more women becoming involved. And I always tell young women, I think we bring something, a balance, a different voice, a different perspective that's really getting more and more respect. And I think this is happening in my generation, and I want to pass that baton on to some of these young people. I can't say a bad word about any of the gals that are running. Alexandra, Juana, Lori, I think, I'm really happy that we have that many women running.
Yeah, it's a strong field, and I agree.
Very
I
strong
agree with
field.
what you just said.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good candidates
Yeah.
that have appeared on the show.
Absolutely,
And-
because we've
and-
had most of them in here
Yeah.
for.
It's going to be a hard choice. It's going to be It's going to be a real tough vote, and it's the day after Labor Day, which is a tough. That's
a tough day to get people out
It
to vote.
really, really
And-
is.
And the other problem is, there's 10 people running. So
Yeah.
if whoever does their best job at getting their people out is probably going to win,
Yep.
because they don't need to get 51% to
And-
win. It's not 2 people, it's 10 people. Somebody could win with 15, 20%.
I know. It's
I
gonna
think
be a
that's
tough race.
about where it's
Very,
going to be.
very,
So
very
we'll
tough
see
race.
what happens. But I think
the
Barbara,
governor's race is pretty much locked up, as much as I'd love to see a change. But
There's not a
today,
lot of-
Charlie Baker did something I really, really am so
What?
happy about.
what do you do?
He has said, and it was a press release, that he is going to see about Massachusetts getting a law in the book to protect a woman's right to choose in
Oh.
case Roe Wade goes over.
Yeah, but I think that
I
if
think
Roe
that's-
versus Wade was reversed, though, it would revert back to the states to make.
The states
That's
make
what they
a choice.
said, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if
and
the
I
states
agree
make
with-
a choice, he's being proactive about it. And I think from a woman's perspective, I'm also the mother of 4 daughters. I was an emergency room nurse for 14 years in the beginning of my nursing career, and I know a different perspective on this. So I really admire. Listen, it would be a very difficult choice for me to make at a personal level. I always knew that as a nurse. I didn't know if I could ever do it. I was very blessed to have 4 beautiful daughters and never had to make that choice. I've just celebrated my 40th wedding anniversary, June 10th. I mean,
Happy
I'm
anniversary.
lucky. I have had a blessed life in many, many ways. A career I love, and then on top of it, to be able to serve the people of Haverhill, I can't even tell you how thankful I am. And I say my prayers every day, thanking. Usually, I talk to the Blessed Mother. She and I are very close.
Is she Irish?
But you could vote
We're
for
both named Mary.
You could vote for Charlie and still feel good, because you get Karen, the lieutenant governor, Karen
That's-
Polito, right?
Yep.
So you
And-
there's your female on the rise.
And listen, I am supporting a Democratic candidate for governor, Jay Gonzalez. That's my candidate.
Okay, yeah.
But I see that, Charlie Baker is not like a lot of other
No, he's
elected
really
Republicans.
Yeah, they call him a rhino.
Yeah.
Basically, it's what he is.
He
Either-
walks between the aisles, but he gets things
Yeah.
done.
But he gets things done.
and he's the most popular governor in the country.
He is,
country.
yeah.
And what we know as locally elected officials is the most important things are what you do for your own community. And I always keep that in mind when I sit there on Tuesday nights, that what I'm there for is not for Mary Ellen. I'm there to make a decision for Haverhill, and I like to make a positive decision, something that's going to move Haverhill in the positive direction.
Oh, Tip O'Neill said all politics is
Politics
local.
are local.
It's
That's
all
it.
local.
It is.
And the people talk to you wherever you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be standing in the deli line at Market Basket. You could be at CVS picking up a few things. You could be out to dinner with your spouse or your children. They talk to you everywhere. And I think that's the best part. We don't have that access to everybody, but they have that access to us.
Right.
And that's why, again, going back to the ballot initiative, people have been talking. They may be not calling us here tonight, but they are talking to us about it. And they have concerns. I'm not saying they're all well-founded, but I think our job as a council is to listen to the many different voices and try to find
And
a
to
path.
also explain and inform, because sometimes people don't understand what's happened. In this one, it took me a while to realize.
We didn't know right away.
Nobody told us.
I feel duped,
Yeah, right, yeah.
to use the words from the medical marijuana
Yeah.
escapades.
Yeah.
And look at that whole thing we went through for medical marijuana. The people that were interested in doing it aren't even going to do the project now. Because you know why? The money's really in recreational.
That's right.
And
That's right.
it's going to be Big Farm that's going to be doing medical marijuana. And
About 4 to 1. There'll be 4 times more money made
Mm-hmm.
in recreational than medical.
and if I could have some of that come to my city, I'd be more than happy.
I would too. Yeah.
You know what I'd like to have?
But
We got
wanna
a
do
caller
it right.
coming in, but we'd like to have a caller maybe that uses marijuana now. and call up and their
Sure.
point of view. I'm not sure if Ryan was a user or not, but he sounded
No.
pro.
Right.
But,
All right. Well, let's
it'd be
get
nice.
let's get this caller on and say hello. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. What are you calling? What's your question?
No, I got to say something about the whole medical marijuana thing. I think it's a bunch of crap. Because
Medical or recreational?
either or.
Okay.
It's just another way for the government to make money off the people, like they did with cigarettes and tobacco all these years. Now they try to outlaw cigarettes, but legalize frickin' marijuana. It makes no damn sense. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. There's more marijuana smokers than there are regular smokers.
Well,
is there?
At this point, there probably is.
It may be true, but let me just mention that this all started with the people in states where they could put their own petitions together and get all the signatures, and Massachusetts was one of them. That's the vehicle that brought both medical and recreational marijuana to the forefront in Massachusetts. It wasn't the government.
No, it
But
wasn't.
the people of Massachusetts voted for both medical and recreational marijuana. So I just wanted to, correct you a little bit on that. Not trying to change your mind on how you feel about it. I can tell you're not a big supporter. But on the other hand, it wasn't government just looking for money. Now the government will make money, but so will the people that are vending it. But that's the way business works.
Long after the government is not involved, which, like in Haverhill, it's 3 years.
Give it time, it will be.
Well, no, it won't be, because that's not the way the statute was written. It'll just be those guys making the money. It won't be us. It won't be us.
I mean, they'll be getting taxed just like every business gets taxed, but it's going to not be at a higher rate than all the other businesses in town pay.
They'll probably have to have a business permit.
Yeah,
That'll be,
of course.
So that'll be $100 a
And
year.
they'll have to get, different, if they have a corporation, an LLC, or whatever they have, they'll have to pay their annual fees. They'll be a regular business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. Okay, hey, caller, anything else? Because we do have to take a break, but I'll let you, if you want to sneak something in, a comment or a question, go ahead.
I'm all set, but you guys have a good night.
You too. Thanks for calling. Okay. All right, we're going to take a short pause right now on the Open Mic Show. Bill Macek, Bill Ellis, and our guest this hour, City Councilor Mary Ellen Daly O'Brien.
Your personally favorite counselor besides yourself, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like yourself, Bill?
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
Stay informed each day with local news, coupled with FSN's worldwide coverage. 97.9 WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at whav.net.
That we deliberate and achieve with wisdom and understanding, recognizing the rights of all of our citizens with full regard for the dignity and justice of the individual.
Each week, WHAV News brings you live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the Haverhill City Council. Listen to 97.9 WHAV FM each Tuesday night at 7 when the City Council is in session from the Theodore A. Pelosi Jr. City Council Chambers in City Hall. As a public service, Haverhill City Council coverage is sponsored in part by Dole, Childs, and Shaw Funeral Home.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Back on the Open Mic, 6:49 right now. Bill Macek, Bill Ellis, and City Councilor Mary Ellen Daly O'Brien. And we have a caller online, so let's go right to our call. Hello, caller.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
What's up?
I have a question for you guys. I also wanted to, I heard some of the discussion earlier. The first is, what struck me is, I can't remember who said it, but you had said if you get a vote that's majority of what your constituents would vote for, you still wouldn't necessarily choose that decision because, and I wanted to hear, that thought be fleshed out.
No, I don't think that's what we
I
said.
don't understand why you wouldn't understand, listen to your constituents.
You misunderstood what was stated. What you didn't pick up on is that, what's it been, like 3 years, Mary Ellen, or two? 2 years since we've voted for recreational marijuana? Okay, yeah, it was the last presidential election.
Yeah.
So during that, when those votes were tallied, there were a lot of things that happened subsequent to that between the state legislature changing and adding new regulations and rules and conditions. And also they formed the CCC, the Cannabis Control Commission, which has even more regulation authority over the communities. Those are the things that when you voted, when I voted, we had no idea about all of the subsequent regulations and laws and things that are now levied upon us. So a lot of people are wondering whether or not it's fair or if it's unfair to not give the people an opportunity to vote on really what the regulations and the laws are.
Yeah.
Or do we just go on the little referendum that was a statewide referendum, and it didn't split communities between how they voted for what regulations and they had to follow. None of those things were in play. So what we said earlier is that we'd like to maybe just discuss whether or not the people, in fairness to the voters and the constituents, whether they should have an opportunity to revisit what is now currently the regulations around recreational marijuana.
Are you nervous that if there was another vote, it would lose? Does that make you nervous?
Not necessarily. I think, but when it comes to regulation, it's a good thing for a product like this because you want consumers of it to have safe products.
It's not on the products as much as we're talking about. We're talking about the regulations between cities. They split the cities.
Yeah.
So if you say this is voted down in November, the city council can then turn around and negate the vote and decide.
No.
Right, so if it's
whatever, because our over 50% vote in Haverhill, it always requires a ballot question for any change whatsoever.
because of the first time.
Because of the first time, right? And you know what? It's not going to make it illegal to possess recreational marijuana. None of those regulations are going to change.
How much is recreational?
And it's from the best of my knowledge, the most people would have to do is drive to Amesbury.
That's the next town?
Yeah, because
Why would Haverhill want to shy away from all?
I don't know. You'd have to.
I don't know. How did Lawrence not get it? How did Methuen not get it? But that isn't the way we read. When you read that ballot question, there was no indication that if your community voted one way or the other, that was going to make you a host community.
Because it wasn't. That was not in the initiative petition.
It was not the way it was presented. It was presented that it was a statewide vote, and that if it won, that everybody across the strait, every community, was going to share in this, and that's not what happened. And I don't think that's fair. I really don't. They as I said before, I used the word duped. I felt that we were nearly duped about medical marijuana, but on this issue, I really feel the voters did not know that subsequently the people in Beacon Hill were going to put amendments on there that split the towns and cities to either you had to be a host or you got the option of not being a host. And everybody that got the option of not being a host is not a host. They all said, okay, we're not going to do it.
So who voted for that? Was it the state reps or state senate or state reps?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why don't we get a state rep and a state senator from this area to come in and talk about it?
Well, we've only got about 6 minutes left on the show.
Well, get them on the phone, Bill. Maybe at another time.
Right. Anything else? Because we do have another call we're going to try to get in. Caller, what else is on your mind?
I would just say I think this is a good thing. I've seen it work in other places. I think making decisions at the local level is always a good thing, too. So I hope voters and I hope the decision makers realize there's economic benefit and having safer product out there is a good thing for everybody in the long term.
Because in simple words, what everybody voted on 2 years ago is not what they would be voting on if we put it back on the ballot this November, because the rules have changed. So that's the question. If you liked it before, do you still like it? We can find that out. Or if you liked it before, do you like the changes that are now in place? And that's I think what our concern is. Yeah, well, that's and that's what we're just starting to bring to light, because we're just getting up to speed on the changes and what the regulations are.
And ultimately, we want to do the right thing.
We want to do the right thing, and we just don't want to. I would never want to be. I wouldn't want anybody to ever say about me. I'm sure Mary Ellen, you feel the same way, that we didn't give the people a chance to hear their voice. And that's what I think we're wondering is how we can best serve the people by letting them have a voice on what really is now the rules and the regulations, and not what they voted on, because it's not the same.
That's true. Well, caller, thank you very much. We got another voice we want to listen to.
Right. Let's go to our next caller. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
How are you guys tonight?
Good. Can you talk up a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Is that better?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I just had a question. I've heard bits and pieces of this conversation. Unfortunately, I had a bad connection and couldn't hear all of it. But one of the points the councilwoman brought up was that there may be multiple shops that would be able to be opened in Haverhill. Was that correct?
We could have it, the way it's written right now, 6.
Right. Under the regulations, we would have to have at least 6.
We could have more, but we have to have at least 6. They did it according to how many alcohol.
It's a percentage of the liquor licenses.
Yeah, liquor licenses.
Retail
liquor.
What would determine if you wanted more?
We could always have more.
We could decide.
So you could have 27 if you wanted.
Yep.
Well, I would assume if you were going to have 27, it would mean the demand would be there and that the businesses weren't fulfilling that demand. So it would just be more business for Haverhill. But I guess that's besides my point. What I was wondering was, I felt like the point of there could be multiple shops opened up. This might be all over town. There might be more people doing this. It might be in different neighborhoods. But right now, after it was just talked that there's increased gang activity in the city, they're presumably profiting right now from sales of marijuana, and you don't know where that's being sold. You don't know what product's being sold, and you don't know to whom it's being sold. I don't understand the aversion that maybe some other constituents would have to this. Like, why would they be afraid of a business opening in broad daylight that's regulated and would only serve customers?
I don't think there's any question about the purity of the product that would come from a Massachusetts licensed store. So I don't think that that point really, we're not arguing over that.
Does the CCC test the marijuana?
Yes.
Yes. Could a convenience store put in for a license to sell?
No, I don't think so. These stores are
has to be
specific.
a standalone.
They're specific, yeah,
Okay.
and they're so regulated. And there was one of the growers. One of the growers in our area was shut down because in the testing they found that there was a little microscopic amount of fertilizer, and they shut them down. And they had to prove that they had cleaned all that up. It has to be totally pure. Go ahead, caller.
Right now, we can agree that the only people profiting off of this are people that are engaging in illegal activities, correct?
No, people with medical prescriptions for medical marijuana.
Okay, the medical, sure, okay.
But we're not arguing. We're just saying that
we're not
we would.
against what you're saying.
I think what Mary Ellen and I are saying is that we're weighing out whether or not it would be the right thing to do to give the people a voice, since so many things have changed since it was originally passed as a statewide ballot referendum.
And in the meantime, we're still going to do our job.
Do you think you get a similar votership for this referendum?
Oh, caller, you're breaking up.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Oh,
I'm
I was going to say, do you think you'd get the same number of people to vote for this referendum?
We don't know.
We don't know that. I mean, nobody can ever predict. You can get a range, but my guess is that there will be enough interest in a question like this that we will have a fairly high turnout. But I can't say we're going to get the same turnout.
No, you won't. I mean, being a midterm election, you're not going to get the same turnout.
Well,
as a
you don't.
presidential.
You just don't know what the interest will be and how this is seen citywide.
Yeah.
So would you try to vet out what the interest would be before you held something like that?
Well, that's why this whole conversation started. That's why it started, because people are asking questions.
Right.
And they have concerns.
I think that it's all about education, that we want the people to know, what is currently on the books and what the regulations are. And if they feel they'd like to have an opportunity to maybe change it so that it's not allowed, but maybe to come up with a different number, whether it's 2, 4, 6, or 10.
Or 1.
Or 1, so those are the questions that we don't know the answers to, and we're just weighing them out. We're really having an open dialogue rather than either not state it or just go forward with it with our head down in the sand. I think it's better to talk about this stuff. We'll figure it out.
A website where they see the pros or cons?
No.
That's actually a very good point. I was actually kind of wondering, too, if there's talk about opening something like this downtown, is there any indication of how the other businesses downtown feel about this?
Well, the person that's trying to has gone, she has 30 signatures from downtown establishments.
In residence.
In residence. So,
in residence.
Yeah, but, that's a sample. But on the other hand, I always believe that people are not going to, most people, there are some people, but most people are not going to be confrontational, and they're going to, pretty much just go along with whatever the person's asking them to do. So I don't know. I don't put a lot of value in petitions.
Well, just like we can always, you can sign everybody's nomination paper.
Right, exactly. Doesn't mean I'm voting for you, Mary Ellen.
It doesn't mean you're voting for me, and it doesn't mean I'm going to vote for you.
Okay. Hey, you know what? We are out of time, caller. Thanks for calling in. And this is the Open Mic Show on WHAV. We're going to come back with another hour, and we'll talk it up again. Keep it right here, 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
It's 7:02.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Here's what's happening in local news. The 27-year-old skateboarder killed on River Street early Saturday morning has been identified as Efren Alejandro Gonzalez Zamora. Gonzalez Zamora was listed as a resident of 111 High Street, according to Carrie Kimball Monahan, spokeswoman for Essex County District Attorney Jonathan Blodgett. He was struck just after 3:30 a.m. near 747 River Street, east of Westgate Center. The street also carries traffic for State Routes 110 and 113. No charges have been filed against the Salisbury driver of a white 2016 Freightliner M2-102 truck. The truck was traveling west when Gonzalez Zamora was hit. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. An investigation remains ongoing by Massachusetts State Police Crash Reconstruction Analysis Section and Haverhill Police. With recreational marijuana now legal statewide, small business owner Caroline Pino hopes to open a retail pot shop in downtown Haverhill, but that may not happen if city councilors decide to petition voters with a special election ballot question. 2 years ago, Haverhill voters voted yes on question 4, which meant Massachusetts joined Colorado, Alaska, Oregon, Washington State, and the District of Columbia in legalizing recreational marijuana. Following a City Council Administration and Finance Subcommittee meeting last week that discussed zoning, Councilor Mary Ellen Daly O'Brien is expected to place an item on the council agenda asking for a ballot question. As she explained during the subcommittee meeting, voters may not have been fully aware just how a yes vote would directly impact Haverhill's local community. Although the item would only be for discussion, councilors could motion and vote to advance it. If that happens, City Solicitor William Cox must draft an ordinance subject to voter approval. Given the local nature of the question, a special election must be scheduled. While recreational zoning is still up for discussion, Pino of Washington Street's The Yoga Tree has had her application for a retail store already fast-tracked. Pino was one of 123 applicants given priority status by the Cannabis Control Commission as what's called an economic empowerment applicant. Pino's background and application is in the process of being fully vetted by the Cannabis Control Commission, giving her priority should pot shops start sprouting up downtown. She's already secured more than 30 signatures from fellow downtown business owners who support her venture and commissioned city architect Matthew Giros to develop preliminary storefront designs. Haverhill City Council meets on Tuesday the 24th in room 202 of City Hall, 4 Summer Street. WHAV plans to broadcast the meeting live starting at 7 p.m.
Business Bulletin.
The Greater Haverhill Chamber of Commerce's new president and CEO, Duggan Sherwood, plans to mingle with members and local business leaders Wednesday the 25th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Olivia's Restaurant, 142 Essex Street. Tickets are $5 for chamber members, $10 for all others. To register, call the chamber at 978-373-5663. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Rebecca Foster. 2 people have been killed and 12 others injured after a gunman opened fire on Sunday evening in Toronto, Canada. Iran's Revolutionary Guard is accusing Donald Trump of engaging in psychological warfare following a tweet from Trump threatening President Rouhani. And the UK government is being accused of dropping its opposition to the death penalty in the case of 2 captured ISIS militants.
Wave weather.
Here is the wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Low around 72 tonight with a very slight chance of a storm. Overall mostly cloudy. An isolated shower possible during the day on Tuesday, mainly cloudy and warmer. Highs around 85. Lower to middle 70s and humid for Tuesday night. An isolated shower or 2. And then some heavy rain and a few thunderstorms on Wednesday. Highs around 82. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
97.9 WHAV. .9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave. WHAV. Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
We are back for the second hour of the Open Mic Show. Bill Macek, Bill Ellis, and City Councilor Mirra and Daly O'Brien holding over for extra innings here.
You know what this conversation that last hour reminded me? Remember the lyrics, I would not feel so all alone, but everybody must get stoned? Who was that? Who sang that? Whose line was that?
It wasn't Tom Petty.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Of course.
Yeah,
The
Bob
angry
Dylan.
poet.
Yeah.
Because Tom Petty was Last Dance with Mary Jane.
Yeah, with Mary Jane. Poor Tom, he's gone.
Yeah, I loved him. He was a great performer.
You know, I liked him with the Traveling Wilburys.
Yes, well, that whole band was fantastic.
That was a super band.
Sure was.
That really was.
Unbelievable.
And you know what I liked about that? Then we'll get back to it. You remember Roy Orbison passed away before the video was made. And then when it came to his part singing in the video, they just had an empty rocking chair.
Yeah.
I thought that was classic.
Yeah. Hey, Mary Ellen, what else do you want to get? You had a whole list. We only got to like 1 or 2 things, and we're going to have to bring you back again soon.
When you asked me to join you, you
I
said
know.
make a list.
And you did. And we got into talking about marijuana, and that's all we talked about.
Well, I think another interesting issue that we're grappling with in Haverhill is the single-use plastic bags and how we will roll that out. So I'm hoping that it's going to become...
Well, we're going to have the proposed ordinance before us tomorrow night, and
but just for to place on file.
Right, exactly. So that
And the
gives us
vote's in
2 weeks.
August.
Gives us 2 weeks to kind of digest it and see if we want to amend it or what we want to do.
I think there's going to be a little amendment.
There could be. You never know. All right. What? We have a call. Can we go to our call?
yeah.
Let's go to our call because that's why we wanted to hold you over. So that is probably the same person calling back. Hello, caller.
It's not the same person.
Oh, it's not the same person. It's
Hi, Brian. How are you
Brian.
tonight?
How are you?
Brian, do you smoke marijuana?
No.
You sound like you do.
Oh,
I'm just kidding, Brian.
He's just
Brian's my friend.
He's just a mellow guy. Bill.
Well, I figured that anybody that does nude sunbathing on his porch would have to be a little.
On Main Street?
Yeah, well, listening to Cheech
on the
and
front
Chong.
porch. Yeah. Brian, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm wondering about these shops. Now, I'm trying to picture one of these retailers in my mind. I mean, they're going to be selling recreational marijuana.
Right.
Not to be mixed with medical, but just recreational.
Right.
Now, are they going to be having other paraphernalia as products?
Yep.
Are they going to have baked goods too?
Yep, they're gonna. Yep, they will. They won't have paraphernalia though. You're gonna have to go someplace else to get your pipe to smoke it.
But they'll have the different forms.
Right.
So the edibles as well as
Probably
your
creams, oils. Maybe all that
Really?
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Anything that they can make with.
I never thought of
what is it?
topical applications at all.
Yeah, they have topical applications.
CDB oils, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And some of that stuff you don't have the THC component, so you're not going to get high from it, especially in the medical stuff.
Yeah.
About 50% of it, I was told, is just for medicinal purposes to take the pain away. Well, anyway,
whatever happens,
it's a new horizon. That's right. Right. We're evolving once again.
And the stores
We are.
the stores are very regulated. There only can be one person at a time in them.
In the Scully going in,
Yeah.
but then they can they can have 20 people in the store.
Yeah.
But they can only let one at a time to the guard. They actually have a guard who takes your license and makes sure that you are who you say you are.
And you can't put your whatever money you're making in the bank.
Right. I think there's an issue with using credit cards, isn't there?
So it's going to be all cash?
Although that's going to be,
That's
I think
safe.
that's being worked on. I think that's being fixed.
It's because it's illegal federally and banks are regulated
Right.
federally.
Right.
So there's all kinds of things.
These like cage fronts.
I mean, there's the possibility.
They make them look very nice, but they're definitely not.
They're secure.
Yeah, they're very secure.
Yeah.
They make them look nice, though.
Yeah.
Then I'm wondering what we're going to do to regulate behavior, because as we
Well,
know,
our question too.
what people are going to act like if they're under the influence.
No, they won't do. They'll go home to do. They have to go home. They can't use the product on premise.
Well, they're supposed to go home.
Well,
I mean, they could go to their automobile.
Well, they could.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
And they could go to the park,
Yeah, they could. Yeah, but they won't be in the store.
not in the store.
Not in the store.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling in. Have a great week. Mary Ellen, we need to wrap it up.
Yes.
So what else will we be thinking about, or you want people to think about?
I'm concerned about the Rite Aid closing.
I am too.
Down at Central Plaza. They serve
So
a
many
population.
seniors, so many from the senior housing. There's
All kinds of housing.
2 blocks of senior housing. They walk over
And not just
to
senior.
Central Plaza.
And not just senior housing.
Right.
Did they merge with Walgreens?
Walgreens
Yes.
bought them.
Right.
Okay, and Walgreens is closing that
So there's
location?
a Rite Aid just over the bridge, but those seniors, they don't want to have to walk
They're
over
not
the
going to
bridge.
walk over the bridge, and they're not going to walk up to the one at Monument Square.
So
Has the council spoken to anybody at Walgreens?
Well, we
well,
have
it's
it
a
on the
little
agenda
late,
for tomorrow
little
night.
late, but now, Mary Ellen, do you know? Does anybody in Haverhill do delivery to CVS
I do
or
not
any
know
of the
that.
pharmacies?
You know,
there's an opportunity.
Our older pharmacies that we
Used to
had,
do
the
it.
neighborhood ones,
Yeah,
all did
they
it.
all used to do it.
Yeah, I remember Mount Washington Pharmacy did it for
Yeah.
the longest.
Yeah.
And the Richies on Winter Street and Bradford Pharmacy in the square, all
Yeah.
those guys used to provide delivery.
Home delivery. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the time, I can remember as a child, we didn't have 2 cars. If we were sick and the doctor ordered a medication, the pharmacy delivered it to the house because my mother couldn't go pick
Right.
it up.
Yeah.
She had 5 kids.
So maybe we have to go back to the good old days.
Well, look at all the deliveries they're doing now. We have these companies that provide deliveries for restaurants en masse.
Well, that's another topic on marijuana, on recreational is delivery, which hasn't been, the rules have not yet been set up by the CCC.
I think that again, there is so many areas that we don't have what the state really
right,
wants.
because they're still in flux. They haven't got it all figured out themselves.
It really isn't fair.
Yeah. I know.
It really isn't fair.
All right, we're going to have to wrap it up, Mary Ellen. It just went so fast. It flew by, and Bill over there chimed in.
Because you're stoned,
and
Will.
and we haven't even talked about recycling and that, but that's another whole topic.
That's a whole other subject.
We'll bring you back for that, or they'll hear it on the city council.
And
right?
I have the pleasure of sitting next to you again tomorrow night.
That's right. Except I'll be on your
I don't
side.
like
and
this
you'll be on
talk.
my
She's
side.
been happily married for 40 years, and
So
you
have
keep
I.
making a pass at. Well, I guess after 40 years, you're allowed for a
good.
little something.
We're good. Yeah,
But
we're just we're
what?
friends.
I can honestly
That's what,
say
that's what
Friends-
Ted Kennedy used to say.
Yeah.
We're just
We're
friends.
friends without
As they walked
benefits.
out of the motel room.
Friends without benefits. That's what we are.
I can honestly say in my time on the council, I have never served with anybody that wasn't a gentleman, and that's the truth. I've never had a problem that way.
Yeah.
We had almost a problem. Almost a problem.
Don't even
But he
go
never came face to face to me.
Okay, don't go there.
But we won't
All
go
right.
there.
All right. Hey, it's 7:15. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with our next guest, Christina Eckert, and we'll give you all the details when she's here with us in just a moment, right here on the Open Mic on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
The Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom turns out local programs every day and night. Tune in for local news, community spotlight, and the Open Mic Show. 97.9 WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at whav.net.
Catch the wave.
On air or online, 97.9 WHAV serves you. Twice an hour weekdays keep up to date with exclusive local news and weather. Find out about civic events on Community Spotlight every quarter hour. And better prepare with wave weather every 30 minutes. Mass Moments, Melinda's Garden Moment, Soundbeat, and Insight Daily complete the spectrum. Hear classic comedy and drama 7 nights a week at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. Finally, a unique blend of rock and roll hits from the 60s, 70s, and 80s round out the entertainment. Stay with 97.9 WHAV, the only Haverhill-based news source.
Community Spotlight.
The Methuen Public School System plans to offer free breakfast and lunch to all city children this summer at Tenney Street Park. Children of all ages are encouraged to stop by 141 Tenney Street between 8:30 and 10 a.m. for breakfast and 11:30 to 12:30 for lunch. All meals are provided free of charge. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at whav.net or email news@whav.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we're back on the Open Mic Show. Bill Macek here, along with Bill Ellis. And this hour, we have Christina Eckert. Is it Eckert? Am I saying it right? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Use the mic
Eckert,
there,
yes.
because she's not used to the radio microphones, but she's going to be just fine. We're going to treat you nice, and you'll be fine. It'll be just like talking, around the home fire or whatever. Just talking to a bunch of people.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now, Christina, you were running for the 2nd Essex District representative seat.
That's correct.
And what made you want to do that?
Well, I'm a mom, and I've been very active in my community, and I've volunteered quite a bit in Boxford, where I live, and I wanted to take it to the next level.
Yeah, okay. And your seat will be in, about 5 communities, and a portion of it is Haverhill.
Seven
7
communities. Yeah.
Wow. And,
Yep.
and you live in Boxford.
I live in Boxford, and it's 2 precincts of Boxford, 2 precincts of Haverhill, and then all of Georgetown, Groveland, Newbury, West Newbury, and Merrimack.
Wow, it's a big district.
Yes.
Yes, and you've been out walking it, I bet.
I have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Just today, even, I was.
Good. In the rain, did you get the rain coming and going?
I did not get the rain today.
Because I thought
got
about
it yesterday.
you. Because you told me you were going to be out today canvassing.
Just the humidity.
And
It's a lot of humidity.
a
out
lot
there.
of humidity, yeah. It's another hot week coming with some rain showers and
Yeah.
yeah. So you know what? At least we're not shoveling, so we're not stuck in the house because we can't get out because the plow hasn't shown up yet or whatever. But anyway, so how's it feel? Any indications? Any gut feel?
Oh no, I
No?
don't. I'm new to this, so I don't have
You
a
don't
gut
have-
feeling. I'm just working at it, just chipping away every day.
And you're enjoying it.
Yes,
and-
I didn't know how much I would enjoy knocking on the doors.
And people are receptive.
Some people are receptive, some aren't, but
Yeah.
but it's very interesting to meet a wide variety of people and find out what interests them.
Okay.
Talking about interest.
Go ahead, Bill.
Looking at your bio, you've done a lot. I BA from English from Harvard University, class of 1985, and MFA in screenwriting from UCLA, 1989. What was it like? You worked as an assistant on St. Elsewhere and Wise Guy. What was that like?
Oh, it was wonderful. I mean, I absolutely loved working there. At St. Elsewhere, I worked for Bruce Paltrow and John Tinker and Tom Fontana and some really great writers. And of course, the writing on St. Elsewhere was amazing.
Now, a lot of guys got their start. Howie Mandel, he became
Yeah.
famous. Denzel Washington.
Right.
Did you ever shake Howie Mandel's hand?
Oh, of course, yeah.
But now, when did he get that phobia afterwards about germs?
Oh no, he did then. He
did that also?
He fist bumped, yeah.
Yeah, his big thing was putting the balloon over, or the glove over his head and blowing it up.
Yeah.
But St. Elsewhere was great. I mean, it was a Boston-based hospital.
Right.
Is what it was supposed to be.
Of course,
And-
it was shot in L.A.
Yeah, well, it's just the same thing. The song "Dirty Water." It was this group from Los Angeles that sang it about a river in Boston.
About the Charles.
Now
yeah.
you won 2 Emmys.
I did.
Tell us about that. All My Children and As the World Turns.
Right. I won the 2 Emmys for All My Children for writing as a part of a team. And I worked on All My Children in the 90s. And 2 different years, the team was nominated and won.
That's tremendous. So you got to go up on stage?
Yes.
Wow.
At Carnegie Hall.
That's great.
Nice.
You get a nice background, and I tell you, it's very, very impressive. Now you're in the world of politics.
She hopes to be, yeah.
Well, she is. She's
but
joined
she's
in the
also
fray.
done so much for your children and other people's children, raising money. You started the what is a parent? I saw the name. I just don't have it right in front of me.
When I first moved to Boxford, I became president of the PTO.
Right.
By default, it was like no one else would do it, and I met a bunch of people who were involved in the PTO at open house for my son for his first day of school, and they kept saying, "Come on, you want to do this?" So I said, "Okay," and I was president of the PTO
And
for
you
2
did
years.
it, and you succeeded.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of other things locally in community-spirited things. So it almost makes sense that your next adventure would be to move on to local politics. And it's local, it's a state seat, but still you're serving your district.
Right. I think the job is to analyze what your community needs and then find a way to deliver it.
Right. It's so good. Yeah, that's exactly what it is you have to take care, as we said, Bill said earlier, but Tip O'Neill's, all politics are local.
Right.
And, that's what you got to do. So are there any things that, if elected, you plan to do?
Well, there's a number of things that I want to look at. I want to look at the budget for school districts. It's being reconsidered right now, and I really want to have a voice at the table on that, on how the state is reconfiguring how they send money back to each town for their school systems. It's been woefully short. It's been underfunded for so many years.
Yeah, I agree.
And I want to make sure that money comes back to our district.
Great.
One of the things in education funding, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, one of the biggest things that irks me is when you hear about a teacher having to reach in their own pocket to buy school supplies. As wealthy as this country is, why do teachers have to reach into their own pockets?
Right.
That just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, but it just goes so much deeper than that. Right now, there are several regional school districts in this district, including Pentucket, Masconomet, and Triton, and their school buses are not paid for. The state had said that they were going to fund them at 100%. They fund them at about 70%. So each school district is left with $200,000 to $300,000 just in paying for school buses.
Wow. And
if they had that money back, they could pay school supplies, they could hire a few more teachers, they could completely fund special education, which is another shortfall. Special education is an unfunded mandate.
Ed is, it's
I mean,
really
it's
an expensive
it's very
thing
important
that you need to do.
Yes.
Right, the communities need to do. But I think the state should be a little more responsive to what's going on in each community.
Yeah, I've been a substitute teacher in the school system in Boxford, so I've had the opportunity to work one-on-one with some kids with special needs, and you see how important the program is to them to succeed. You see them succeeding, which is really wonderful, especially if you can teach them early. And the programs are very important, but they take a lot of the school budget, and again, they're not getting enough money from the state to cover that.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, and I think the state should be able to find money for that. It's a necessary expense that every community has.
Right.
Now, I've been out of school for quite some time, but you mentioned here that early intervention and education needed. Do they teach anything in the schools now what you should not touch as far as the opioids go?
Yeah, there are definitely programs. Health education is required in Massachusetts, so they do teach that in health education classes.
Okay. I mean, when I was a kid, the only thing they taught was early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. That was about it. I mean, because the opioid addiction levels now is horrendous. You know, and more you see these young kids, you see in the newspaper, and it's sad, very sad.
And a lot of what I've been hearing comes from students or people who use an opiate that is prescribed by a doctor for a sports injury or some kind of injury, and then then it's hard to let go, hard to not use it anymore. It makes them feel better, and I think that it's a deeper level than just say no. It's teach them how to manage pain in a different way.
Right, because it's prescriptive opioids that they get hooked on.
Right.
And when they can't get the prescription anymore, then they have to go digging for something equivalent, kind of on the black market.
Well, what are some of the non-pharmaceutical alternatives?
Well, that would be, again, this would be not before someone is already addicted, but if the doctor is considering a person's pain, they may look into prescribing physical therapy or massage or things like that can address the pain without getting the person addicted to OxyContin or something like that.
I agree with that. So, Billy, next time you have a pain, I'll give you a massage.
Well, every time I'm with you, I'm with the pain. So.
Thanks, Bill.
And to tell you the truth, I'm going to pass on the massage from you.
Well, yeah. This time, but the other time you didn't.
Now, come on. But, I also was reading that the state is considering there are some prescriptive drugs that help people that have an addiction, an opioid condition, and when they take them, if they went to the opioid, they would get sick. It just keeps them at a normal level, but they don't want to get high because it doesn't coincide with the drug. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of 3 drugs that are generally prescribed for people trying to get off addiction, and there's an issue that one of them is not as readily available, and I can't remember the name of it. They're long names.
Yeah.
And I think that it would be great in the State House to look at ways to make doctors' jobs easier in figuring out how to treat addiction and how to make the drugs that help treat addiction available in the way the doctor prescribes it.
Do you think that the drug boards are legit and really wanting to get people off opioids, or do they want to just sell another drug? Because they supposedly created this problem by coaxing doctors to overprescribe. So when somebody needs something for an operation or whatever is going on for, say, 5 to 10 days, give them 30 days. So.
Oh, you mean the drug companies?
Yeah, the drug companies are like not playing really for the best interest of.
Their job
they're
is
selling
to
drugs.
increase profits. The drug companies are a whole different issue, and one issue that I'm interested in taking up is healthcare in general.
Yeah.
And I would like to see some kind of deal struck with the drug companies to reduce prices on not just pain medicine, on everything.
Well, across the board.
Right.
Like you just said that one of those drugs that would help somebody with an opioid addiction is too expensive.
No, it's not. It's not that it's expensive.
Oh, not available.
There's a certain regulation on it that has to be removed. I read an article about it. I can't pull it to the top of my head right now.
But would common sense say it should be removed?
It wouldn't be common sense. I read an article written by a doctor, so it would be pretty. It's complicated.
Intelligent sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But
all right.
For me, common sense for all of us is bringing down the cost of prescription
medicine.
drugs.
Yeah.
I have a son who's allergic to peanuts. And the first time I had to buy a EpiPen, it was $90 when he was 2 years old.
Right.
Now it's $600.
It's gone that high.
Yeah,
Wow.
and you have to buy it every year. It expires every year to buy a new one and have it handy. And God forbid he has to use it, then you have to buy another one.
Wow.
I had to buy another one, and I got a letter from the drug company said, you've used up your allotment for the year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of stuff that I think regulation should come in and.
Well, I think it's
and if you were able to buy it, say in Canada, what is it, like $30?
probably. I haven't looked into it, but
Yeah.
Now, could you go into Canada, buy it, and bring it across the border?
I don't think that's legal, but I've never tried to do it.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't
Billy,
think
next time you're up getting your
I don't
Cuban
think you're-
cigars,
yeah.
pick up some of those.
Okay. I don't. You had me buying them for you. I don't smoke, but
See?
we do this all the time, Christina. You have to get to know us. That we just always crack jokes with each other.
He picks on me, Mom.
But where was I?
You were talking about marijuana.
No, we weren't. But well, that's another topic that you may have to be faced with.
Yeah.
I have 3 teenage sons. I do not want to go there.
Okay.
Do not want to go there.
All right.
That's like.
But are you teaching? Do they have questions? I mean, is it something that schools should be dealing with?
Well, that will come up, I think, in the health education
Yeah.
classes they have at school. I think they do a good job at Masconomet, where my kids go,
Yeah.
teaching them. But there's so many different things to teach. And then with teenage boys, or teenage girls, probably the same thing. At a certain point, you become like the Peanuts character, adults, wah, 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 and, they don't really listen to what you say. But when you pass a law that says, hey, this is legal now, then they suddenly say, hey, this is okay to do.
But it's legal 21 and above,
Right. But,
like alcohol.
but the message you send to them is that
Is
it's okay.
Yeah.
So then it
But there
becomes
is
a little scary.
I've seen and heard of research that says that kids, when their brain is developing, it's not a good thing.
Right.
But as you mature to a certain age, I guess it's not as bad. I don't know. But
Yeah.
okay, what else do you want to do when you become representative?
Well,
You know what? We have to take a break. You can think about that question, and we're going to take a short break because it is that time. And we'll be right back with more questions. Christina Eckert, running for the 2nd Essex District here in the state of Massachusetts, wants to be a representative for the people of her district right here on the Open Mic Show on 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
It's 7:33.
97.9 WHAV is the only FM station assigned to the city of Haverhill. Your membership is critical to continued operation. It's easy to join. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
Catch the wave.
Melinda's Garden Moments help gardeners create and maintain a healthy, beautiful garden with ease, inside or out and all year long. This is Melinda Myers, inviting you to tune in every weekday morning right here on WHAV. You'll learn creative ways to grow your own vegetables and herbs while beautifying your landscape. Eco-friendly lawn care, flower garden design basics, unique container gardens, attracting birds and butterflies to the landscape, and much more. Again, please join me weekday mornings for Melinda's Garden Moment for a very environmentally friendly approach to gardening. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
Wave weather.
Here is the wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Low around 72 tonight with a very slight chance of a storm. Overall mostly cloudy. An isolated shower possible during the day on Tuesday, mainly cloudy and warmer. Highs around 85. Lower to middle 70s and humid for Tuesday night. An isolated shower or two. And then some heavy rain and a few thunderstorms on Wednesday. Highs around 82. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Catch the wave. WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back on the new Open Mic Show right here on WHAV 97.9 FM. Every Monday night between 6 and 8, we are here with the Open Mic Show. It's your chance to call in and become part of the show and to converse with our guests or make an opinion of something. So don't hesitate, 978-374-1900. Right now, our guest is Christina Eckert. She is running for the 2nd Essex District to be representative for that district. 7 communities, or parts of at least 5 plus parts of 2. Is that what you said? Yep. That's a big district, and she is a resident of Boxford, and she'd like to hopefully be a representative to the state for parts of Haverhill, parts of Boxford, and all of 5 other communities, which you can name off the top of your head because you've been walking all over them right now. I have them here, but why don't you just let everybody know, in case they have, even if they don't live in your district, maybe they have a friend or a relative and they like you, so they should call and tell them to vote for you.
So Georgetown, Groveland, Newbury, West Newbury, Merrimack, 2 precincts of Haverhill and 2 precincts of Boxford.
You got it, 100%. See, you are a Harvard graduate. That's why you're a Harvard scholar.
Where did you learn?
And she goes on and becomes, you got a master's from UCLA, too.
I do. In screenwriting. It's very helpful.
In screenwriting. And then you started writing out there for some of the big... St. Elsewhere was one of my favorite shows.
And I didn't write for St. Elsewhere. I was a secretary on the show.
Okay.
I wrote for the commish. Which
I remember the commish, too.
So what was Michael Chiklis
That was
like?
Chiklis. He's a math
awesome.
guy.
He's from Andover, and he's my age, and he's just full of energy, and he's a brilliant actor.
Yeah, I love that show, too.
He was in a good Seinfeld episode. I don't know if you ever remember that one.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Oh, yeah. It was about a party that was at his house, and then he comes into the city and so forth and stays at Jerry's place, and he gets caught up with a prostitute. And
oh, dear.
They think it's Jerry because the woman, Jerry hands the girl some money and says, "Here, just get out of here." And the cop walks through the door and he sees the transaction. But anyways, you have earned 21 varsity letters. What sport?
Track and cross country. But I was the team manager. So the reason I was able to earn that many is my freshman year was the team manager for cross-country, indoor track, and outdoor track for the women's team. From my sophomore year on, I was the head manager for men's and women's cross-country track and indoor-outdoor track.
Who's your favorite runner of all time?
Oh, that's a good question. I remember reading a biography of Wilma Rudolph when I was young, and that was very inspiring.
Yeah. She had polio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite runner has to be a fellow named Dave Waddle.
Oh.
Do you remember Dave Waddle?
That name sounds familiar.
He was an Olympian, and Dave Waddle used to wear a baseball cap, and he'd always go into the back of the pack, and it always seemed like he was never going to get there. The last time around or whatever, he'd kick into gear, and God, that guy had wings. I think he was at Bowling Green or Wake Forest, one of those two, that he college that he went to. But he was, go on YouTube and look up Dave Waddle. You'd
I
be
will.
very, very impressed.
I will.
So you see, you've done so many things successfully. Now you're running for state rep.
Yes.
So hopefully that tradition will continue.
Well, I'd like to work really hard for the district.
It's about getting your vote out because September 4th is not a good day for election.
Yes,
Day
that's
after
the
Labor
primary.
Day. Yeah, but that's where you got to get through that, right?
Right. Well, actually, I'm unopposed in the
Oh, you
primary.
want to? And you're
Yeah.
running as a
I'm a Democrat.
Democrat. Okay. And the current Lenny Mirra is a Republican.
Correct.
I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm up against Lenny on November 6th.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. All right.
Quick question: National Grid lockout. Talk to us about that.
Well, it's interesting. I went and talked to the guys. So National Grid locked out the employees as of July 1st, and they cut off their health insurance. So as of July 1st, the workers at National Grid and their families do not have health insurance. And I went and talked to some of the guys who are outside National Grid here in Haverhill on Friday, and they were telling me stories about how one of their coworkers, their son was just diagnosed with leukemia, and he was scheduled for treatment in July. And then how do you pay for treatment if you don't have health insurance? And does that become a pre-existing condition? You know, there's just...
It's heartless.
It is. That's what the
really
guy
is.
said. They said it was inhumane.
The city council unanimously, which I'm a member of here in Haverhill, that we unanimously passed a resolution in support of the workers. And National Grid, well, you knew the number. I knew it was a big number, but they only made how many billion?
$6 billion?
$6 billion last year. You think they could maybe afford to at least carry the health insurance while they negotiate? And plus, they locked them out.
What's the impasse?
Well, apparently, in the new contract, National Grid wants to not give pensions to new hires and to cut health benefits for new hires, or have the new hires pay a bigger percentage of the health costs. So the current workers said, no, we should all be the same. The new people should get the same deal that we have.
Yeah.
And they were still negotiating it when the lockout happened. So the guys that I talked to are dying to get back to work. They really want to get back to work, but they've been locked out.
Right. It's a company decision, not their decision.
Not their decision.
How many employees do they have?
That I don't know. I mean, they're all over the state. They're locked out.
Right. And how many employees are locked out?
I believe thousands.
Thousands, yeah. And this is only the gas side, though, right?
This is the
not the electric
gas
side.
workers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are the guys who, if you call DigSafe, will come out and tell you where the safe place is to dig. And which one of the guys was telling me that when he goes out, he knows he's been doing this so long that he knows where the safe places are, and sometimes they're not on the maps, but he's been in the neighborhood, so he knows where.
He knows where they really are,
So
where the pipes are,
Right.
or the wires.
So they're worried if somebody new comes in and thinks that just the maps are correct, then they might make a mistake that could prove to be a real problem.
Right.
It'd be fatal.
Right.
Yeah. So they're very worried about people's safety.
Well, let's hope that they can get that together soon, because that is something that is really a sad story. And you told the story.
Have
of
they
the
stopped
kid.
talking, or have they?
No, there's some talks going on right now.
Okay, so there's a possibility that.
Yeah.
This could come to an end.
I think they told me that they appreciated the vote that Haverhill took to not do any new gas service until this is resolved.
Right, except for emergencies.
Yeah, they're very grateful to that, to Mayor Fiorentino, to support them. And I think if everyone would support them, and if you happen to be driving by there, beep your horn.
I do that.
Oh, yeah?
Every time I go by, I give them a
Yeah.
thumbs up and I beat my horn. Yeah.
And it's going to be a hot week. Bring them ice cream.
Yeah.
I brought them some Italian ice. It's very easy to go to Market Basket, get some Italian ice.
That's a good
bring it
thought.
over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's going to be a tough, and they're going to be there from 6
Yeah.
a.m. to 6 p.m.
They were. It was raining a little bit when I went by, and they were holding umbrellas.
Oh.
They've got their little
They have a tent.
tents
Yeah.
and stuff, but it's tough to do that.
They're hardworking guys, and they really
Yeah.
just want to work.
Right, and they're just trying to get the attention of the general public, so the general public can also, even if they just make a call to
Yeah.
National Grid and say, hey, you really ought to get it together for the gas workers.
Right.
I'm not going to pay my gas bill till you
Ooh.
put them back to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth a call.
Bill, you're brutal.
Hey, look.
But I tell you, though, if
Gotta
a
fight for
lot
the
of people
cause.
didn't pay their gas bill, they'd have to take notice.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm calling for people to not pay their
I'm
gas
not-
bill.
Yeah, I don't know if I am either, but you know.
But definitely call National Grid.
Right.
Especially if they provide your gas to your house.
Yeah.
Definitely call them.
I think
and
so.
say that you're on the side of the workers.
Right. Yeah.
Also, you talk about transportation. Now, we had a caller, and Billy, you're familiar with this. Was there a bus service that was going to be canceled in Haverhill?
The MVRTA was going to be scaled back. They level funded it in the first budget, and they have corrected that error though, and so I believe that we're going to have the same schedules and the same bus routes that we have had. But
That's good.
The level funding sounds like, oh, you can do the same thing, but you can't because costs go up, wages go up,
Right.
and so they were going to have to cut off the last run, the 6 o'clock run.
Right, which would be hard if you took the bus to work.
Yeah,
How would you
wouldn't
get
it?
home?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I had heard about that. I
And
went to the-
weekends, they were going to cut. I think
Yeah.
Saturday and or Sunday, and that doesn't work either. That's
Right.
the day people use the bus to get around.
If you can't drive, there were people at the meeting who were blind or who were disabled in some way. There were
Yeah.
seniors who don't drive anymore, and they'll use the bus on the weekends to go to the grocery store,
Well, in an
do
age,
all their errands.
yeah, an age that we say public transportation is the way we should be going.
Right.
We shouldn't be cutting it.
You need to make it reliable so more and more people take it, and it becomes useful every day.
Yep, that's right.
And that will cut down on the congestion on the roads.
Yeah. So anyway, they got that message, and it was negotiated so that
Right. They added about $8 million
Yeah.
to the budget, and that will keep it at level services, but it won't add to the services.
See, you're right into it. You're not even in office yet, and you know all of these details. You'd be a great rep.
I'm a bit of a news junkie.
No, that's good. That's good. That's great. So Christina Eckert from Boxford, running for the 2nd Essex District here, the representative seat. She is not an incumbent. She's running as a challenger, and she's running on the Democratic ticket, and she will be there in November because she has no other Democrat running against her that she has to knock off in September. So she makes it till November, but that's when the battle really rages, and she'll be going against the incumbent. So we want to
I'm going to get
give her as much
after this break, Billy. I want
we're
to talk to her about the 1912 building that she worked in.
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break right now. This is our last break this hour. So if you do have a question or a comment, 978-374-1900 is the number here to the open mic on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
Your membership enables WHAV to remain local and independent. Consider joining at whav.net.
Catch the wave.
When the Haverhill School Committee meets, 97.9 WHAV FM is there live from Haverhill City Hall. Class sizes, special education, teacher hiring, and spending are among the topics covered Thursday nights at 7 when the school committee is in session. WHAV's live coverage is presented in part as a public service by Youth and Powerhouse, formerly Girls Inc.
WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back on the open mic show with Bill Macek. You know, this booth announcer keeps saying my name wrong every week. He's
Billy,
got the wrong pronunciation.
he's got it
of
right.
He
You've
does
had it wrong all these years.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, Tim says he's going to get a new intro cut.
How about let me do the intro cut?
No.
Why?
Yeah, because I want
The spectacular Bill Macek here on WHAV.
Yeah, see, you sound like a yucker in the game.
Hey, you want me to sound like this?
Yeah.
This is NPR and Bill Macek.
Yeah. Do James Earl Jones.
Yeah, if I did that, I wouldn't be working here, Billy. Trust me.
This is HAV.
I'll be like Bill. What was his name? The conservative commentator there years ago. He used to talk like this, and he was very intelligent. What was his
Conservative.
name? Yeah, Bill. He passed away.
David Brudnoy?
No, it wasn't Brudnoy. He was on BZ. This
Well,
was
who
a
are you-
national.
What show are you talking about?
He was a national commentator. Probably died maybe 25, 30 years ago now.
I don't know.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, you can think about it. I'm too young to remember
I
that.
know.
All right. Christina Eckert is here from Boxford. She's running for representative, a Massachusetts seat for the 2nd Essex District. And, Bill, you had a question about some building you wanted to ask her
Yeah,
about?
1912 Fenway Park.
Oh.
Where did you sit? Now, you were electronic school, but you weren't the guy in the wall.
No, I was not in the
Or the girl on the wall, I should say.
Yeah, no, I was up in the control room, which is right next to the press box.
Now, was Sherm Feller working at that time?
Sherm was there, yeah.
Sherm was the worst.
What, the worst?
What do you mean?
Number 8, Yastrzemski.
He was perfect.
He was terrible.
He was perfect.
He had about as much life as you, Billy.
He had a deep voice, too.
He was, and Sherm Feller used to be on a small radio station in Boston that was like 5 watts. And I used to listen to him and call him up as a 14-year-old kid and give him grief.
Yeah,
Just
Sherm-
because they
Sherm
didn't have a
was
7-second
He
delay.
was great.
Yeah.
I
And
missed
Kenny
him.
Carberry was there then. Kenny would fill in if Sherm wasn't there. And John Kiley was playing the organ.
The organ.
John Kiley was
yeah.
tremendous. John played there. He played at the Boston Garden. And you know what used to be pretty neat, though, is every once in a while, if a puck got way up in the air, it'd end up going up by where the organ player was.
Yeah.
John Kiley.
Well, every once in a while, a ball went up there, too.
Did it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's you should wear a helmet up there. No, but John Kiley was fantastic.
So for your last 2 years while going to Harvard, you ran the scoreboard
Yeah, I helped.
at Fenway Park.
It was a team effort.
Billy, it was William F. Buckley.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember him.
Now it came to mind.
Yeah, it was 84 was a fun year. It was my first year summer working there, and that was the year that the Detroit Tigers won the whole World Series. But the Red Sox opened against them.
Okay.
And in the first inning, my job was to keep score by hand. In the first inning, they batted around the order. And I'm trying to fill in the boxes, and I run out of boxes. I'm like, what do I do? I've never done this before. But, after that first half inning, I had no problem keeping score.
Now, who was
the rest
was
of
it?
the time.
Denny McClain? Was he on that team?
The Detroit team?
Yeah.
Not that I don't know.
Well, he
but
pitched for one time. I'm not sure if that was the. Now, who was the coach? Sparky Anderson? Was he around to that?
I don't remember. I just remember that it was when Roger Clemens began with the Red Sox. And so that was the first year they started to do the Ks in the
the Ks
in
out on the
bleachers.
wall. Yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I also had an internship at WBZ, and I would go after my college classes, and Bob LaBelle would say, "What happened at the game last night? Can you help me put together the reel?" And we would just basically put reels of Ks together. Yeah.
What a great life you've had.
I know, I've been
and you're
very
still so
lucky.
young, and you're just.
Stop flirting.
Have you ever bought a lottery ticket?
No.
No.
You should.
You should. You've had great success. Anyway, Christina Eckert. She's going to be. She is running right now, and she's doing a lot of walking.
And she's going to
is what
win
she's doing.
on September 4th,
She's
Billy.
going-
I trust that.
Oh, thank you.
It's got a feel
Yeah.
here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, what else would you like to say to the listeners that are listening that may be voting for you, or maybe know somebody that will be voting for you?
Well, there's another issue, and this is not in the State House. This is actually a ballot issue in the fall in November when you go to vote. There's an issue about transgender equality.
Yeah.
And it's question 3 on the ballot, and I would urge everybody to vote yes on that. That is to retain transgender rights. There is a movement to take them away, and discrimination of any kind.
Well,
and
who wants to take them away?
I don't know who's behind the move. I just know that they managed to get a ballot question.
Is it true? I think I read this morning. Is there 31 states where if you're gay or transgender, you can get fired? There was some,
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw something very quickly when I reading this morning, and insane.
Yeah, I don't know, but I like I said, I'm against discrimination of any form, and I just don't understand why we need to single a certain group out as being somehow less than.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also heard when I walked in tonight that our governor, Charlie Baker, has said that he wants a bill passed in Massachusetts now for a woman's right to choose, so that if there ever was a
Reversal.
decision or reversal of
Roe v.
Roe v.
Wade.
Wade, then
Yeah.
Massachusetts would already have a similar for women.
I hope that happens.
Yeah,
hope
I do
that
too.
If it doesn't happen in this round, definitely in the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we have a caller, Will.
Okay, well, let's go to our caller. Hello, caller.
Hello, is this the Open Mic Show?
It is.
I was wondering if your guest used to work the scoreboard when Manny Ramirez was playing.
No, I was before Manny Ramirez. This is 84 and 85.
Well, never mind what Manny used to do. But I've been watching a local community television here. I live in fabulous Groveland, and I noticed that there was a capital budget that came out. And I noticed in the capital budget that the legislature voted on, there wasn't much for the little towns.
Well, that's...
I believe that's a separate budget that used to come out. I used to work in the State House, and it's a capital improvement budget. I read it. I didn't see anything for Groveland, West Newbury, or any of these places.
Yeah, well, so among other things, a lot of times when the budget comes out, local senators and representatives will put an amendment on the budget, if there is a project in their district that they want to help have the state fund. And
right.
that is the responsibility of the rep or the senator to do that. And I would definitely be advocating for the community once I'm a representative.
I watch Groveland Community TV, and I watch the selectmen, and they're always saying, let's call this guy, let's call that guy. How come you didn't call him before the budget came out to do these projects? I used to work for good old Sharon Pollard. We used to do stuff all the time, working with local communities and meet with people before the legislature came out, find out what their priorities were, and then put it in the budget, and bingo, we'd get projects done.
Right, and that seems like the way to do things. And I'm looking forward to taking that on.
Yeah, it's important. I remember Mike Harrington used to be the congressman over here. Harrington was the most liberal congressman in the United States Congress, and he got Groveland their town hall and their library and the police station and the sewer project in Groveland. He did that. The liberal Mike Harrington.
And Groveland
that's great. Now, caller, let me just tell you, you live in Groveland. She would represent all of Groveland, so you got to make sure you get out and get your friends out to vote for her in November.
I don't have any friends.
Come on, you do too. You do too. Can I tell people who I'm talking to? Because I've picked up who you are.
You don't know who.
Oh, yes, Jack, I do know who you are.
I live in Utah, remember?
Are you out in Utah, Jack? Are you watching us on Facebook?
No, I tried that once. Yeah. I tried to get all my friends in Utah to watch the open mic when I came back on a trip. I told them it was on at 6 o'clock. Everybody's watching. The show doesn't come on until 6:30.
Who are you voting for U.S. Senator out there?
I forget her name. I was working on her campaign, but I moved.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to vote for Elizabeth Warren.
Oh,
Utah,
good.
And let me tell you something. Being a Democrat in Utah, you talk about being on the Great Plains. Everybody else is a Democrat. I got this T-shirt, a blue dot and a red state. Everybody's a Republican. Unbelievable. Anyway,
Jack.
I do watch Groveland Community TV, and they're always saying, call Mirra. Call, who's the senator? I forget his name. He's not very good.
Tar,
yeah. And
Bruce
How
Tar.
come they didn't do this beforehand? When I was working for good old Sharon, they'd call up. They usually get me on the phone. Really, I remember the police chief called me. I wanted to get a motorcycle. He didn't know how to fill out the application, so I got the Groveland Police Department their first motorcycle. I tell every cop who stops me for Utah plates that I got you that motorcycle.
Jack, you are a great call. I hope you call in a lot, and do take care of yourself. We got to kind of wrap it up here. We're getting near the end, but thank you very much for calling in.
But really, community projects is very important, and regional school districts used to get extra money.
Right.
Triton, Masco, and Pentucket. I don't know if they still get extra money, but they should.
Well, all regional school districts should at least be funded for transportation. They're covering about 150 miles of distance, which most districts are more like 10 or 11 square miles. Regional school districts 150, and the costs are just prohibitive for the school buses. Yeah.
There used to be an incentive by the government to provide extra money for regional school districts because they supported regionalization.
Makes
I don't know
sense.
if they still do that or not.
Yeah.
And Haverhill's pretty big too, 35 square miles.
Yeah. We have Whittier Regional, and they have their own buses. They run their own transportation.
Yeah.
So. All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, Jack. Okay.
Thank you, Jack.
All right. That, of course, was the past host of the Open Mic Show years ago, Jack Bevilacqua. And for anybody that didn't pick up on who we were speaking with. Right now, we're talking again for just the last few minutes with Christina Eckert, and she is running for state representative in the 2nd Essex District, and she's out knocking doors and pressing the flesh and smiling and waving and putting up signs, and I know all the things you have to do. I had a good friend when I was young, and he was already on the city council. I think it's part of the reason why I ended up throwing my hat in, because I used to help him on his campaigns, and he said, you know, you don't know what works, but do none of it and see where you come in. I just can't ever forget that. It was just so perfect. So
I believe in you, Billy. That's why I stood out in that pouring rain
Yes.
cold that day
And
holding your sign.
And I appreciate
And I was the only one
Right.
out there.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you let me wear your coat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Christina, we're just about wrapping up. Do you want to say anything in particular, or remind people of maybe how can they find out more about you, and what's the best way to have them send money?
Well, thank you. No, I do have a website. It's called eckertforrep.com. So ECKERTFORREP.com. And you can check out how I stand on issues and what's coming up. I'm also on Facebook, Christina Eckert for State Representative on Facebook. And I post often there about what we're doing. I'm often canvassing right here in Haverhill. I was canvassing earlier today for you folks on Boxford Road.
Right, because you've got Ward 4, Precinct 3, and Ward 7, Precinct 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is beautiful. It's a beautiful area.
Isn't it? Haverhill
Yeah.
is so fortunate to have the size that it has, because we have. You don't think you're in a city. You think you're up in New Hampshire or Maine or something at times.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I've discovered the joys of Carter's also.
Ah, yes, Carter's ice cream. Don't we love it?
We finish a lot of times the canvases are very hot and sweaty, and we finish and we all go to Carter's and celebrate.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we like to hear that, and who knows? Get you started here in the 2nd Essex District, and who knows where you go from there.
Yeah.
So it's been great speaking with you. I wish you the best of luck in the upcoming election, and enjoy your campaign season.
Thanks.
As you're on, what I always say to people is really enjoy the first one, because after that it's work.
Oh.
Yeah, so I hope you're liking this one.
It's a lot of work. I'm actually
Isn't it
getting tired of talking about me. I want to talk about the community.
Issues. Well, you've hit on a lot of the issues. You have a great background, great experience. So I wish you luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for coming in.
This is the Open Mic Show, heard every Monday night 6 to 8, right here and only on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Join Bill Macek live on the new Open Mic again next Monday night at 6. The opinions expressed on the Open Mic Show are not necessarily those of 97.9 WHAV FM or affiliated stations. The Open Mic Show came to you from the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom.
It's 8:02.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Wave weather.
Here is the wave